All right, joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, former ECU head basketball coach, and one of our favorites here. Was a treat to see him in studio last week. He's now back in Richmond, VA. Mack McCarthy joining us. Coach Mack, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Got my day trip. Got my Greenville, North Carolina fix a little bit. Hit all the hot spots, especially the food spots. But got to see a bunch of folks, and it was good to get back down there, even if it was just for a few hours.
Good deal. Looking forward to your next venture here to the Tar Heel State, and looking forward to seeing you again. But Mac, always enjoy talking to you each and every week, and I really enjoy this time of year. I tell folks that August is one of my favorite sports years because, or sports months out of the year, because everybody's undefeated and your optimism can be sky high, and everything's great until the games are actually played and you see what you got. But that's why I like late July, August, because we get to prognosticate things. Some things, as you know, we hit on. Some things we're way off on, but it makes it fun.
Yeah, and we get to talk about the games themselves, the teams themselves, rather than the transfer portal and the NIL and all the problems that that's causing and the politics of everything. So, yeah, I'm ready to start talking about whose quarterback is going to do well and whose schedule is favorable, and see if we can, get in that mode pretty quickly here because we're less than a month away now.
Yes, sir. And got a football game on TV coming up in 2 nights, the Hall of Fame game. So just looking for those little signs that football is returning. Mac's text of the day to me was a stat, or I guess more of a projection from Brad Powers. Teams projected to be favored in every game this season. Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame, Ohio State, those make sense. The other, Arizona State, which we're going to talk a little Big 12, and it is really pick a name out of a hat, seemingly, with the Big 12. But, Mac, that tells me that there may actually be a favorite in the Big 12, at least on paper. And is that the Sun Devils there?
Yeah, and the Big 12 is interesting. There are a whole lot of teams that I think could win that league. Maybe as deep as 6, 7. I don't know if I could go 8, but possibly. Yeah, there's some quarterbacks that are of interest in that league. But Arizona State being in favor in every game was a little bit of a surprise. Non-conference not so much, but the league is so balanced. You would have figured somewhere along the way on a road game they would have been an underdog, but yeah, they were the one that jumped out at you as a little bit of a surprise. And the other surprise was a Southwestern team again, but not a Big 12 team, a former Big 12 team, Texas, actually an underdog going into the season in two different games against Ohio State and Georgia.
And looking at their schedule, I just don't believe this to be true that they're going to be favorites. Mississippi State's not good. Are you going to put Arizona State as a favorite at Mississippi State, though?
Yeah, yeah, you
Okay.
have to. Yeah,
At Baylor, at Utah, at Iowa State,
yeah. I mean,
I would take the home dog in every game without seeing anything, without knowing anything. I'm taking the home dog in those games if Arizona State's favored.
Yeah, none of those are going to be easy, and who knows by the time they get there, they may not be favorites. But going in, I could see them being a slight favorite, but the favorite to win all three of them, I don't know about that.
Who's this year's Arizona State, Mag? Where were they projected last year? I could go look at the field steel.
Last,
Or
Yeah, dead
dead
last.
last,
there you go. So
dead last.
and you had Oklahoma State pick first, and they didn't win a game, as Mac famously said a week or so ago. So, is there a team at the bottom this year that you would potentially see winning a lot of games? Your candidates: Colorado, Oklahoma State, Arizona, West Virginia. I got to be honest; like it wouldn't shock me if any of these teams won 9 games.
No, and even down to UCF, Arizona was picked near the top a year ago, and now they're picked 15th. And yeah, maybe Houston, Cincinnati. I'm not sure about them, but who knows what Colorado has? The big news out of Boulder the other day, BYU hadn't been mentioned. that I don't know that that would be a shocker if they finished first, but it doesn't happen very often that the last place pick wins the league and goes to the college football playoffs.
In a league like this, it would be more shocking to me if Arizona State was able to repeat than if one of those five bottom teams won it. I just feel like it's that kind of wide open.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And I don't think there's that much difference when you start talking about the quarterbacks like Avery Johnson at Kansas State, the returnee, although he's coming off an injury at Texas Tech, Iowa State, Beck's back again, Baylor's Robertson is back. Utah's got an interesting situation, and we've seen this happen before with Pavia at Vanderbilt. They brought a quarterback in from New Mexico and brought his offensive coordinator, and of course that's what Vanderbilt did, and went on to have a year with some big wins. So TCU's got a returnee, the Hooker kid at quarterback. They've got a lot of talent. Easily you can go seven deep and say one of these seven could win.
There's way too many guys named Jalen and Jaden.
Yes.
And there's already a Jaden Daniels, but there's a Jalen Daniels at Kansas who, when healthy, has been really good, Mac. And
Yeah.
they got him coming back, right? So how about
Yeah.
Lance Leopold and 5-7 last year? I can't remember if it was last year or 2023 when they dealt with all the injuries, but they were a 9-win team in 2023. So we've seen them win before, and could they be a factor here?
Yeah, they haven't quite been the same since they lost their offensive coordinator to Penn State. But that quarterback, Daniels, Jalen, or Jaden, whichever one he is, he's good enough to carry them a lot of nights.
You like Baylor, right? Did you? I know you said previously you like Baylor, but who?
I liked them a lot better before I saw Dave Aranda's press conference ramblings. I don't know what the heck he was talking about. Something about throwing midgets against the wall or something. It was
Okay.
absolutely bizarre. If you haven't seen it, go Google it because you will come away perplexed. Maybe amused, but if you're a Baylor fan, I wouldn't find it amusing. But hey, returning quarterback who did a great job a year ago. A lot of returnees at Baylor, and of course they'll get a big test right off the bat when they take on Auburn. I think that game is in Waco too to start the season. One of the many big early season games that we've got to look at.
Trying to do more integrated marketing here, and speaking of what Mac was talking about, micro wrestling coming to the Buck.
Yeah, and I believe Dave Aranda will be the special guest referee in the main event.
Now, I'm not going to promote that. We're not going to do any.
It's what I'm hearing.
I know you guys in the wrestling biz like to
I like it,
promote
Jared.
things that
I like
are
it, Jared.
untrue.
Card is subject to change.
Yeah, there you go. As long as it says that, you can say anything. Mac McCarthy joining us. It's the Big 12, as Dan Hawkins once said. That was a classic coach rant, Mac. It's not. It's Division I football. Go play intramurals, brother. Do you have an all-time favorite coach rant, Mac?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's hard to beat Mora in the
Yep.
the playoffs. That's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. What was the guy who said they are who we thought they were?
Dennis Green. Yeah.
Yeah, Denny Green. Yeah, those were awfully good. The very best of all time, though, was the coastal guy about hunting. He needed some dogs.
Hey, yeah. You got.
I think that's a winner. It's there have been
is-
a lot of great ones, but that was
Yeah.
that one would be hard to top ever.
Yeah, you got too many cats, and look at me, look at my gloves. Da, da, da. You need to be a dog. Well, it's not really a rant; it's more of an interaction. But man, we play that Jim Calhoun, not a dime back, a lot. I love that so much.
Would you please?
What was the take tonight? It's university brings in, and he gets in that real thick northeastern accent. Oh man, that's a good one. Do we have any good Mac McCarthy rants on file? I don't think so, Mac. You never did anything explosive during press conferences, did you?
Not too much, no. I was pretty calm by the time I got there. There may have been some earlier on in my career, but I don't think so. I'm sure my players could come up with some.
If anybody has an old VHS tape of Mac McCarthy going nuts, let us know. All right, so anything else on the Big 12 before we move on?
What is Texas
No,
Tech
but I will
schedule?
say this: we could get interrupted by landscapers here. If it happens on live on live radio, I apologize, but I kind of see them sneaking around the corner a little bit. Hopefully, they've already come by here. I don't know.
I don't want you to apologize. I want you to rant, Mac. I want you to curse and point. Jared Watkins has requested the schedule of Texas Tech. Their non-conference is Arkansas Pine Bluff, Kent State. So you're 2-0, and then Oregon State is the third. Road games in the conference at Utah, at Houston, at Arizona State, at Kansas State, and they end at West Virginia. At home, they'll get Kansas, Oklahoma State, BYU, UCF. So they don't play
Yeah.
Baylor.
They have three contenders on the road. That doesn't bode well.
That's not great. They don't play Baylor or Iowa State. That is good. So there's that. Oh, I did want to ask you about BYU since they're coming here, Mac, and all the talk from them is of course losing the quarterback. I mean, how good was that guy? Maybe you can tell me. But how about overall Kalani Sitake's team? I know they have pretty high expectations coming off an 11-win season, but we were hoping we could, have a top 25, top 15 team maybe come here to Greenville, but maybe without the quarterback, that might knock them down a peg as far as rankings go.
Yeah, I think they would have been picked higher had Retzlaff stuck around, but he's going to be at Tulane, so you still get to see him.
Yeah, true. You like BYU overall? What do you think about them?
I don't, I think the other teams have kind of caught up with them. I think they got some people by surprise last year. The coach does a great job. They've always got good players. They've got the experienced players because of the mission deal and all that. But I think they're toward the bottom of that top half in the league.
Just for fun, let's all pick a Big 12 team to follow and say he's going to win this year. Sounds like you want to go Texas Tech. Jared.
Mine is Texas Tech, yeah.
Who you got, Mac?
Jared, following the money. I love it. I love it. I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to go with a little bit more of a long shot. I'm going to go TCU.
All right. Big one right out of the gate against North Carolina.
Big one out of the gate, and they also have SMU in there. And this is the last year I think they're going to play SMU in that whatever it is, Iron Skillet or whatever that trophy is.
All right, I'm a Jaden Daniels guy. I might as well be a Jalen Daniels guy. So
Wow,
give me rock.
That's a big reach.
Give me rock chalk.
Jayhawk
In the Big 12 this year.
We could go 0 for 3 with this group right here.
Sure. I think that's kind of what makes it fun. It is such a crapshoot, and there's going to be some wild games. I like the conference for the fact that it is just unpredictable. I wonder, Mac, I could look this up, but what would Arizona have been slated if they were playing Arizona State? Been slated in the playoffs if they were playing under this year's structure. Do you know off the top of your head? Like they wouldn't have received a bye, obviously.
No, very near the bottom.
Right.
They'd have been above Boise, and
right.
that might have been the only team they were
SMU,
above.
maybe. I don't know.
No,
You don't
SMU
think
played a much better schedule. I think they'd have been 11th.
Yeah. So the Big 12 champion will likely have a tough road to make it anywhere in the playoff. Mac, also today, I told you to try to find me a winner in the American, which, could be as difficult as the Big 12. I don't think there's an overall front runner here, but maybe you disagree. Who do you like to win the American this year?
I do think it's probably Memphis and Tulane, but I think, contrary to superfan Zach, I think UTSA will be in the mix just because they're so good at home, 6-0 a year ago, although they were 1-6 on the road or whatever, but awfully good offensively. They do lose a lot on defense, and they weren't good on defense last year, so that might be a reach on my part, but I think because they're so good at home and the way their schedule falls, I think they've got a chance. Army, I think then there's a group of Army, Navy, East Carolina, and USF that are right below those three.
I don't know why. I just don't buy into Memphis, and I guess I should. I mean, they've won 10 and 11 games the last 2 years, but Maybe it's because the last time we saw them, East Carolina beat them a couple times in a row, and I just don't look at them as a major factor in the conference, maybe, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't. But maybe they've just been out of sight, out of mind. I don't know why I don't respect the Memphis Tigers.
They just lost Seth Hennigan, so I mean, for the first time in 4 or 5 years, they're going to have a new guy under center.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think your skepticism is out there.
Looking at their schedule, Chattanooga, Mac.
Yeah, W.
Okay. At Georgia State, at Troy. Interesting that they play 2 teams like that away from home, and then they get Arkansas at home, so they can run through that 4-0. You know, they'll be receiving some votes perhaps, or at least getting a little bit of attention. They do have a very favorable schedule. Good grief, their conference slate. At FAU, Tulsa, at UAB, South Florida at home, at Rice. You think they could probably be undefeated up to that point before they take on Tulane, at ECU, and Navy to wrap it up. And Navy put it on them last year, 56-44.
Yeah, it's kind of backloaded, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
big time.
they've been so consistently good. I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. And it's been 2 decades that they've been very, very good and not had many off years. But Tulane might have a slight advantage right there. And I swear, UTSA just intrigues me because of their offense being so good and them being so good at home. And I think that coach does a really good job. And then that next tier, it is very possible that Army, Navy, East Carolina, or USF could step into that top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm excited for the league this year, and think we'll have some fun football. Mac, can the AAC champion? I'm sorry, AC. They've been rebranded. My
I'll
apologies.
go correct you.
Thank you. Can the American champion be in the playoff this year, or will that go to somebody else?
No, I think they can be. I think they can be. They probably don't have quite as good an opportunity because Boise, and some of the folks out there will get a little bit of benefit, but with their, they'll have some opportunities early on. They seem to do well against some tough non-conference opponents. I haven't looked at their schedule, but yeah, I think whoever wins the American, unless they beat up on each other and everybody's got 3 losses or something like that, but I think if they get through there with 1 or 2 losses, I think there's a very good chance that Memphis or Tulane or whoever it is in that championship could get in the playoffs.
Mac, you understand things that my simple mind cannot. What do conference commissioners do? Other than like play golf and, go to lunch.
No, I think they do a whole lot more than that. Their probably most important thing is dealing with television negotiations. That would probably be their number one thing on their list. But to execute scheduling, to execute championships, to oversee officiating and just the logistics of every team, every sport, all the schedules that go on. While they do have a lot of help, especially at the highest levels, and those folks have attorneys and everybody else on their staff, but directors of compliance, there is a whole lot on the commissioner's plates. I will give them that.
All right, fair enough. I just like when Tim Pernetti, who's a great speaker, he could go into preaching or politics or anything else where you stand at a podium and lead people. But I just don't know what those words are and how much he can say to make the American relevant amongst the landscape of college athletics nationally. Like I'm not like insulting the guy. It's just kind of the way the world is, the way college sports are. We are what we are, and hell, he even said like he didn't say something to the effect of he didn't blame Memphis for trying to leave.
He understands the ambition to want to move to a different conference, and he knows that every other school in this conference has that ambition as well.
Yeah, which is kind of odd to know while saying, this league is going to rise and everything. So I don't know. It seems all kind of fluff to me, but I'm a very cynical person, Mac.
Yeah, I think he is a good spokesperson, and he's done it in a lot of different capacities. The first time I ever met him, he spoke to us as basketball coaches in Conference USA, and I think at that time, I'm not sure if he was with one of the networks or what his position was, but he was talking to us about television and the importance and what we needed to do scheduling wise to make that more attractive to the networks. But he's been an impressive guy a long time. He's had some really good jobs. I think he is a good spokesperson, and I think the face of the conference does make a little bit of a difference in just the perception of the league. The Big 12, we talked about this last week. They don't have a single football team with 50% 4 and 5 stars. They're not in that category. They're not even close to the ACC and certainly not to the Big 10 or the SEC. But they've done a good job. Brett Yormark has done a good job of marketing them. They've done some things outside the box. They've done some creative things, and I think the commissioner does play a role in all that and the public perception of the league.
Mack McCarthy joining us. Mack, you mentioned the ACC there. This comes up from time to time, whether it be Florida State or Clemson. Here lately, it's been North Carolina, who has been discussed about leaving the ACC for the SEC. Why are those rumblings in the news? Anything to that?
Well, the board of trustees or board of governors, whatever it's called, at board of visitors, whatever it's called at the University of North Carolina system, they continue to kind of be in the news with their opinions about the league and what they need to do, and all of this has come about because of the restructuring of the grant of rights deal. It goes through 2036 or 2034, depending on which version you read, but things start to change from a buyout perspective in 2029, and that's the next time a lot of these contracts, television contracts, are out there. But there are a lot of things that would have to happen. North Carolina certainly is a valuable property, whether you're looking at it from the Big Ten's perspective or from the SEC's perspective. However, there are politics involved all along. I remember Coach Holland, one of the few times that he was wrong. He said there is no way in hell Virginia Tech will ever get in the ACC, and the one thing he forgot to take into consideration was the politics of all that. And when the governor speaks up, and when the legislatures speak up, and they talk about funding and that kind of thing, all kind of different things can happen. So yeah, I think it's always going to be there as long as we're still talking about the possibility of those two super leagues. But again, we've talked about expansion before. I still think we're 4 or 5 years away from Power Four movement, if you will.
Mack McCarthy joining us. Coach Mack, I like to throw out a baseball bet or two during this baseball season, and I'll do that. And if I have a little bit of chump change left over, I'll do like a big home run parlay and throw $3 to $5, and if it hits, I'll win a few hundred or whatever. So I was going to do that on Sunday, but it was an early start day for everybody, and by the time I'd put in my baseball bets, there was only like a game or two that hadn't been played. It wasn't enough to give me a good home run parlay. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna bet on NASCAR. I'm gonna put my $10 that I have left over on a winner, and that winner's gonna be Kyle Larson. And I was close, but did not quite get it because Bubba Wallace gets the win. Of course, when I bet, some dude snaps a 100 race losing streak or whatever and beats my guy. That's the way it goes. But how about Bubba's victory? And Jared, I'll let you chime in as well. How'd y'all enjoy the race Sunday, Mac?
I thought it was interesting, fuel mileage deal, and Bubba, to his credit, he had to win it 3 different times. He had to win it, then the caution, then he had to win it, then the caution, and then he had to win it again, and do a good job with managing the fuel at the same time as holding one of the best drivers in the business off right behind him, and the defending race champion. So yeah, Bubba won a rain shortened race. He hadn't got gotten a lot of credit for having a couple Cup wins, and 100 races is a long time to go. And his teammates been outperforming him pretty consistently for a couple years now. So I am sure that was a huge weight off of his shoulders to get that W at the Brickyard. And they kept calling it one of the crown jewels. I might dispute that a little bit, but we'll take it, and so will he. And if you look at it that way, he has one more crown jewel race than Chase Elliott, who is everybody's favorite.
And he'll be in the playoffs, Jarrett, which how many drivers now are locked into that? Do you know off the top of your head?
2 spots left.
Okay.
And Chris Buescher and Alex Bowman hold those last 2 spots, and it does not look like a wide open race. They have a very comfortable lead. So,
but again, it could, if somebody wins.
Yeah, all it takes is a
bumped,
win,
so.
and there's 4 more races until the playoffs. But one more thing on Bubba. I like how NASCAR's like, we're taking away these charters. And then the 2 races after they said that, Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace win. Denny Hamlin, the owner of 2311 with Michael Jordan. Bubba, a racer for them.
So it was like a win and a middle finger?
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay.
Yeah, and that's the third time a non-charter driver has won, because Van Ginsberger won, and then I want to say Colleague won a race maybe with Allmendinger or somebody won a race with a team
Josh
that just
Berry?
didn't have a Josh could have been.
Josh Berry, maybe?
I don't think it was Josh, because when he won with the Wood Brothers, and they definitely have a charter.
Okay.
How did how the standings look, Jarrett?
Mac is now in double digits.
Way to go, Mac.
He is nipping at your heels.
Man.
You have 16, Mac has 11,
Man.
and I am in the lead with 24 points.
Oh, wow.
This thing is tightening up. This is tightening them up.
It is.
I was kind of poking fun at Mac last time we talked about the points. He's like, it's a long season, a lot of races
Well, he
left.
was in the negative the first 3 months,
Yeah.
and now he's caught me. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yep.
And Mac looking pretty good as we get close to the playoffs. Where are we at this week?
Iowa.
Okay. It's not heaven, it's Iowa, said Kevin Costner.
Iowa was built to be a replica of Richmond by Rusty Wallace, and it's a really good track. It's just in the middle of nowhere and not with a lot of infrastructure and that kind of thing. But I think the racing is going to be really good. I'm excited about seeing them go there.
Good deal. Mac, anything else on your mind?
Football. Let's get into it.
You're a simple man. I like that. Football is on the mind always. Mac, enjoyed it, man. We will check in with you again next week. Have a good week.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.